Welcome back. In this video, we will finish up our review with exact trig values using the unit circle. So we're starting with sine 45 degrees. What we need to know is that sine means the y value at 45 degrees. So on our unit circle, we go to 45 degrees and we find that the y value is root 2 over 2. So that is our answer, square root of 2 over 2. Cosine at 210 degrees, and we need to understand that cosine is the x value. So at 210 degrees, we find the x value is negative root 3 over 2. Tangent. What we need to understand about tangent is that tangent is y over x. So at 10 pi over 3, there's a couple different ways to find that spot. So let's try two different ways. So one is to understand first that all the way around is 2 pi, so that's 6/3. And if I'm looking for 10/3, I went 6/3, I need 4 more thirds. So here's 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, 4/3, so it puts us right here. Or I could change that to sixths. So 10/thirds is 20/6. If I go all the way around, that's 12/6. 13/6, 14/6, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20/6. So it brings us to the same spot either way. Now, tangent is y over x, so that's negative root 3 over 2 over negative 1 over 2. Okay, so now in order to simplify this, I can multiply this outer loop here to get a numerator. By the way, these negatives will cancel, so it's going to be positive 2 root 3 over this inner loop here gives us the denominator of 2, and those 2's cancel, so square root of 3 is my final answer. Next is cosecant. Cosecant is the reciprocal of sine, which means it's 1 over y, or we can just find the y value and flip it upside down. So at 7 pi over 6, that's right here, the y value is negative 1 over 2. We're looking for the reciprocal, so we just flip it and we get negative 2 over 1, or negative 2. Secant is the reciprocal of cosine, so it's the reciprocal of x. So we are going to find the x value at 7 pi over 4 and flip it upside down. So 7 pi over 4 is right here. The x value is root 2 over 2. So when we flip that upside down for the reciprocal, we get 2 over the square root of 2. Now we can't leave a radical in the denominator, so we'll multiply by square root of 2 in the numerator and denominator. And we'll get 2 times the square root of 2 over, and then square root of 2 times square root of 2 is 2, and these 2's cancel. So we have the square root of 2 as our final answer. And then cotangent 300, that's the reciprocal of tangent, so it's x over y. So we'll find 300 degrees, and we'll put x over y. So that's 1/2 over negative root 3 over 2. So cotangent 300 is 1/2 over negative root 3 over 2. So our outer loop here, and this negative does not cancel, so it's going to be negative 2 over 2 times the square root of 3. Now I can cancel out these 2's, but I still need to multiply top and bottom by the square root of 3. So I'm going to have negative square root of 3 over, and then root 3 times root 3 is 3. So negative root 3 over 3 is my final answer. Then we have negative 9 times cosecant, and cosecant, we've already done one of those. It's the reciprocal of the y value at 120 degrees. So negative 9 times, And then at 120 degrees, the y value is the square root of 3 over 2, but this is the reciprocal, so it's 2 over the square root of 3. Plus 3 times sine at 210. Sine is a y value, so at 210 degrees, the y value is negative 1/2. Okay, so now we can multiply. Negative 9 times 2 over root 3 is negative 18 over the square root of 3. And then plus 3 times negative 1/2 is negative 3/2. So we need to cancel out this radical, so multiply by the square root of 3 in the numerator and the denominator, and we get negative 18 times the square root of 3 over 3, plus negative, so I'll just call that minus 3/2. And then 18 over 3 is 6, so we have negative 6 times the square root of 3 minus 3/2. And I can leave it like that, or I could find a common denominator and add them. It's perfectly fine to leave it just like that. Then we have two tangents, and tangent is y over x. So tangent at 135, y over x would be root 2 over 2 over negative root 2 over 2. Minus tangent at 5 pi over 4. So at 5 pi over 4, y over x is negative root 2 over 2 over negative root 2 over 2. Here I do not get to cancel out the negatives, so it's going to be negative. Root 2 over 2 over root 2 over 2, that's something over itself, so that's 1. So it's negative 1 minus, and here I do get to cancel out the negatives. Root 2 over 2 over root 2 over 2 is 1. So I have negative 1 minus 1, and that is negative 2.